What's up, K-Divas, and welcome back to the channel. This week this video is going to be my first attempt at creating a half elastic waistband that allows you to have the elastic on the back and a smooth front waistband. I did this as one full piece and had just one seam at the center back. This is a beginner friendly process and hopefully you guys enjoy it as much as I did. So if you want to see how I created the pattern and how I put the entire piece together, make sure to keep on watching. To create the waistband, you need to measure your waistline, your hip, and decide on how wide you want the waistband to be, because the waistband is divided into two parts, the front and the back. And because the waistband pattern is one entire piece, you need to multiply your waist measurement by 1.5, and whatever the outcome is, just ensure it is wider than your hip, because you want to be able to pass the waistband over your hip and over your butt. So I'm going to be going ahead to draw out my own dimensions, which is 43.5. That is 29 times 1.5 gives me that outcome. So the next thing I'm doing here is I'm just marking the middle point of that measurement along the line I have drawn like so, and then I'm going to be indicating that that will become my center front. The next thing I did was I divided my waist measurement by 3, and I'm just marking that and mark that dimension on both sides of the center front point. So once I have that marked in place, I know those edges are going to become the edges of the front waistband, and by the time I connect the two ends together, I'll have one full piece for the waistband. So the waistband itself is 5 inches wide because the elastic band I'm working with is 2 inches. Remember to add some seam allowance, and hence the reason why I am creating a waistband that is 5 inches wide. So I'm just going ahead to connect all the points together so I have the bottom end of the waistband in place. Next up, I'm just drawing in the side and adding a 1 centimeter seam allowance because that is going to become my center back seam. Don't forget to also transfer points that indicate the edge of your front waistband as well as the center front, and then go back in and draw in the side for the other end. Add your seam allowance so you can go in and cut out this pattern piece. I'm just going in here to draw my center front line, and this is going to become my grain line as well. I'm going to also write down my annotations, how many pieces I need to cut, the sizing, date, and so on, and then cut out my pattern piece. So this is what the full pattern looks like. You can actually make this pattern on a fold, but I just wanted to do it as a whole piece so it is nice and clear for anyone who is new to pattern making. So I went ahead to cut out the pattern piece in some scrap material just to test the fit on my body. I have my main waistband piece with my notches cut in place. I also went ahead to cut the elastic waistband measuring roughly 10 inches long, which is going to sit on the center back. And then I just cut a piece that has the same width along the waist, and it was just roughly about my knee length. That way I could try on the skirt and see how it sat on my body. So I'm going to go ahead and sew, and the first thing I'm doing is closing up that center back seam both for the waistband and our test skirt piece. This could be a pair of trousers, this could be a maxi skirt, or anything that you want to incorporate in the future. After stitching up that center back, I'm going in here to fold my waistband in half like so, just adding pins at notched points, and then I'm going to be joining the waistband to the waistline of our test skirt along the waist edge. So I'm pinning in center back to center back, side point to side point, center front to center front, and once I have the waistband pinned in place, I'm going to be sewing the waistband into the waistline of the skirt and leaving like a opening that's roughly 4 inches on the center back edge. So I'm going to take this to my machine, and I'm going to be sewing on a 1 centimeter seam allowance, starting from one side of the back, sew all around to the other side of the back, leaving that opening in place to allow me to pass my elastic band through. Once you are done stitching the waistband into the waistline of the skirt with that opening in place, I'm going to be grabbing my elastic band that I've attached a safety pin to, and then I'm going to be passing this into one side of the channel up until the point that I have marked or notched the end of my front waistband. Now, in order to take out the safety pin, what I did was I just cut open the seam underneath that place. Not a lot of opening, just about 1/2 inch, and after cutting that open, I just dragged out the safety pin and then secured the edge of the elastic band along that point. So once you do this for one side, you would need to repeat it for the other side. So attach a safety pin to the other side of the waistband, pass it through, open the seam underneath there slightly, remove the safety pin, and then use a pin to just hold the elastic band to the waistband like so. So this is what the piece is looking like. You're free to adjust the gathering at the back, but at this point you would need to take this to your machine and first stitch the opening close. So the opening that we made to remove the safety pin, you first need to go and sew that close. After doing that, you would then need to take your piece which has the waistband in place and your pin still holding it down, and you would need to sew over the edge of the elastic band inside the waistband. So by stitching over the elastic and catching it in place, that is going to become that edge for the back waistband and the edge for the front waistband. So just make sure I do a few reverse stitches to secure it in place, and after repeating it for the other end of the waistband and the elastic, you would need to go back and sew close the opening that we left to pass the elastic band into the waistband. So this is what the waistband of the skirt looks like. It finishes in such a way that the front waistband extends into the back of the piece, and then there is an intense gathering because of the elastic. This is one easy and beginner friendly way to create a fastening for the waist of a skirt, trouser, shorts, anything that you're making that you don't want to attach a zip, you don't want to attach a button, but you want to be able to put on the garment in a way that is comfortable. So this is one way to do it, and the way the skirt sits on my body, it sort of sits like a straight cut from the waist all the way to the hem, and this is what the back looks like. I gave it a nice press to relax all of the seams, and it actually doesn't look that bad. I think I would want to try this again for a maxi skirt in the summertime. But this is one way to do this half elastic step. Another way that you could actually do this is one that we commonly see in stores and on garments that we might already have. And basically for your front piece, you cut it separate from your back piece, and the front waistband is your waist divided by 2, and then your back waistband is your waist times 2. So you essentially gather your front skirt into your front waistband, and then that your back waistband is what will have your elastic. So this is another way that you can do this to create your half elastic design along the waistline of your garment. But if you enjoyed watching this project, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, let me know if you'll be recreating this, and if you do, make sure to tag me on Instagram at KimDaveDesigns. And until my next video, have a good morning, afternoon, and evening wherever you are. Bye.